and listen closely. Everything is curable. We're in a new era, remembering what the earth has been whispering, shifting from conventional medicines, quick fixes, beyond prescriptions. This is our journey back to the intelligence of the body. Welcome to Beyond the White Coat. Hi, I'm Gaya Stepanian, your host, and you're watching Beyond the White Coat, where we return to the earth's medicines, restoring health through nature's original blueprint. Beyond the White Coat is for truth seekers, for those who seek to understand the human body beyond what we've been told through conventional medicine, and our body's extraordinary ability to heal, where the impossible becomes possible, where the incurable we discover is curable. And through this show, guests will share how they, through discovery, investigation, exploration, and practice, have been able to help so many people come back to their true nature, reestablish their body's original footprints to help them heal from those things that we thought were impossible. Today, I have an incredibly special guest. Joining me is Jax Wilson. Jax Wilson is a guide, a wellness guide. She has founded Shalom Temple Journey. And through Shalom Temple Journey, she also operates Sustain Me Living events where Barbara O'Neill, this world-renowned holistic practitioner and educator, is through events is able to reach so many people throughout the world. So these Sustain Me Living events are hosted in different parts of the world, and also an array of incredible speakers are able to join her in those events to educate us all, to open up our minds, to help us understand that nature holds the key and our bodies hold the wisdom. So here we are. Now you have this amazing video. Yeah. Many people have heard about how castor oil packs can be applied to help dissolve fibroids and tumors. Yes. And so, but you have like a little bit more of a how to make that even more effective. So please share that with our listeners.
Yeah, sure. So it depends on which area you're trying to bring, harmony back, especially like if you're talking about like the fibroids in the uterine area or the liver or the kidneys, you can apply castor oil and pair it with DMSO, which is sulfur. It's a sulfuric acid that comes from the bark of trees. And what it does is a compound that drives any compound deeper into the tissues to bring about healing, and allows the castor oil to absorb better and work better. And then obviously you can use essential oils depending on which organ you're trying to work with. Like I say, frankincense is really nourishing and very good for the liver. You have clary sage. If somebody's has cramps, very bad cramps, clary sage is very nourishing for the ovaries and helping calm those cramps. And you pair with the DMSO, it's just, synergy, works together.
Oh my goodness, I love that, because there's so much information on the web and through socials, but these very kind of key insights that can really kind of turn the table further, deeper, quicker, without doing any harm.
Yeah.
Right? So thank you for that.
Yeah.
Now, tell our listeners, how did you start on this journey? Where did that all begin?
Yeah, actually, it really started on the island that I was born on. The ancient wisdom that you talked about was passed down through the elders, the guardians. And I remember very specifically this man that rented a room from us. And he was really, I just thought it was like a mystery. Like, what does he do in that room? And he had a whole bunch of herbs, mixtures. I guess he was making tinctures. I did not know, but he always smells some kind of way like the, plants. And I was very intrigued, like, but it's like such a secret. And I'm like, what is the secret with these herbs and tinctures and stuff? And I was like maybe 8 years old when, so that's really when it started. Like, ooh, it's like, and then I find out that, oh, it's remedies to help people, get themselves in a better, path and heal themselves. So that's my curiosity started then. Then of course you have the elders and the guardians, that taught me very simple modalities like parasites. For example, everybody on the island, I swear they had parasites, or they were always treated for parasites. So I remember being given, aguardiente, which is a very harsh alcohol with garlic.
It's liquor.
Garlic, though.
Oh, with garlic.
Garlic. Like, it literally, now that I think about it, is a tincture. They took the plant, or the herb garlic, which is very anti-parasitic, pair it together, and they would just give it to the kids. And I mean, back then it was like, this is the most awful thing that I've ever had, but guess what, it works. It's the alcohol was just a medium to drive in the garlic, the sulfur from the garlic. So those little things like that. I remember enemas were huge with the elders, like if you're sick, have an enema. But remember, this was when I was 2, 3, 4 years old, right? And so those instincts are coming from memories that you pick up as a child. And so it started on the island, and then forward back to when I had babies. And when I had my babies, of course, we're taught, go take them to the pediatrician, give them vaccines, have them, you have to do all these things. And of course, as a naive 22-year-old, not knowing what to do with this baby, of course. And back then we didn't have the internet, the health wellness space was not prevalent. So I had a moment where my oldest was suffering from some kind of gut issue, showing signs of constipation, and doctor says, oh, just give her carob syrup, which is corn syrup, to help the bowel start moving. And I'm like, okay, like, do you put it in the bottle? What do you do? So, I'm trying to figure this out. And she's not getting better. She's getting worse. Her stomach is, she's in pain, obviously. And something in me tapped into the ancient wisdom from the island. And it said, just give the child an enema. Right? So I took the little blue bulb that they gave you in the hospital for, suctioning the mucus from the nose, filled it up with warm water. And I just gave her a gentle enema, used coconut oil to, lubricate and make sure she was good. And everything came out. And this child went from crying hysterically to laughing with joy and such peace. And that was really a pivotal moment for me. Like, oh, okay, I think there's more to it than what we're being taught. There's more to it. So tapping into that ancient wisdom, tapping into the creator and being in alignment, right? We can know more. So that's where it started.
I absolutely love that. And it reminds me of a time I was living in Mexico.
Yeah.
And we had itchy butts. So, yeah. So and my mom, she was a trained nurse. But instead of taking us to the doctor, I think my grandmother said, oh, take him to the homeopath.
Mm.
So we went to the homeopath and they gave us the little pellets. I don't know what they were.
Yeah.
But all I know is that the itchy butt went away and some funky stuff came out in the toilet.
Yep.
Yeah. And so something as simple, because at the end of the day, homeopathy comes from our herbs. It comes from, our wonderful planet that has everything that we need without having to put it in some kind of chemical compound that's just going to create toxicity for our body. Mm-hmm. But I find that most people in urban areas or even most people living in the US, this conversation about parasites is very recent. Mm-hmm. Most people are still unaware that just because we live in a first world country, that somehow Mother Nature and, our environment and Germs don't exist here the way they do on an island or in an underdeveloped country. And this is simply just not true. I mean, if a mosquito bite stings you, it can lay larvae, and that larva grows into parasites. So chances are everybody has parasites. The difference is that do we have an overpopulation or an underpopulation, right? If we're eating things that are raw or undercooked,
right,
we can get parasites.
That's right.
And sadly, one of the things that in the work that I do, which is tapping into the essence of certain things, whether it's vaccines or food or anything really, is that they put parasites in the boosters and bacteria. And so you find that people who got boosted have a lot of inflammation in their body because parasites release neurotoxic gases and those create inflammation, not just in the gut, but they could be anywhere in the body. So a lot of people are being diagnosed with these inflammatory conditions and they just need some really good natural deworming, I think.
Exactly. And I think even with, going back to like garlic being so simple, right? We have other herbs like wormwood and cloves and black walnuts are super simple. I mean, in the States, you can get black walnuts and, wormwood, but on the island, those things don't grow. So what grows in your environment? Everything is there for our use, right? The herbs were created for the use of men, right? To help us in our journey here on earth. So even going back to you're saying about your Mexico, you had the pellets and the homeopathic, and it's gentle. It's not aggressive. And I think that's the point I wanted to make, a little bit goes a long way, not a lot, because anything can become a poison. Just garlic, you eat a lot of garlic, that's poison. It actually is really toxic to your blood. They used to put it in the arrows. And I think, I don't know where I heard that they used to put in arrows to get the enemy, the white people, and what does garlic do? It's a toxin for the blood. So, but when it goes into the digestive system, your body knows what to do with it, right? In small amounts. So you don't need large amounts of anything, right? It's gentle. It's a gentle movement forward. Energy is gentle in nature. The flow of energy is gentle.
My grandmother, she had colon cancer and she didn't do any kind of chemotherapy or radiation therapy. They did cut a part of her colon, but what she did was cut 2 cloves of garlic, cut them at like little pills, and drink them with warm water in the morning. And she never had cancer again. And she lived to be 98 years old.
Yeah, sulfur. So sulfur is so healing. It's in your onions. It's in the garlic. In a lot of vegetables, they have the sulfur in it. The barks of the trees have sulfur in it. Very healing. And I think a lot of this wisdom is being passed down. But because we live in a world that there's so much information, there's a sea of information out there, and there's just so much is being revealed. But I think if we stop and pause and really tap into like, what did our ancestors do? They didn't have the internet. Maybe they did. I don't know. But, they had some other form of whatever technology, but just pausing to say, what did they do? They didn't have a car to take them 20 minutes to a hospital. What did they do? It was more community driven. It's more villages. It's more, centralized around the family unit. So really going back to the simple ways of nature. And this is why I love Barbara O'Neill, because her stuff is super common sense. She focuses on the 9 pillars of health. Who knew that just going out and getting sunshine could heal you, right? That goes to the red light therapy. Who knew that water could be so useful? I mean, yes, we know those stuff, but we are trained to believe there has to be more, there has to be other modalities, other big, huge, complicated words to heal ourselves when it's really super simple.
Now, speaking of Barbara O'Neill, for those of you who know this amazing pillar in holistic medicine, Barbara O'Neill. You are her official event organizer and assistant. You assist her, right? And you are also organizing an event here in South Carolina. And there's other events going on in the world.
It's actually North Carolina.
North Carolina. We're in South Carolina. I know. It's so close. It's like across the border.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
So North Carolina at Tryon, and this is March. So please tell the public a little bit about this interplay with Barbara and what she brings for those people who are not familiar with Barbara O'Neill.
Yeah, so Barbara O'Neill is an Australian naturopathic author and speaker that was banned in Australia for teaching natural, modalities, like sunshine and water, things like that are super common sense anyway. So she's banned from speaking in Australia, but the father took her all around the world to teach everybody else. So, he always gets the last word in. So it's a blessing. Barbara does different lectures, conferences, and in March 16th through the 21st, she's coming to North Carolina at the Equestrian Center in Tryon Mill Springs, North Carolina. And so she's going to be coming along with, I think we have 9 other speakers. All these speakers, and the reason they came, I brought them together is because they themselves have overcome health issues on their own using these principles, even though they may not have been familiar with the 9 pillars of health, which comes from the Sustain Me book that Barbara talks about. But they tapped into it in their own way, naturally. They didn't get the chemotherapy. They didn't do the other thing. They did fasting. They did sunlight. They did exercise, so I brought them together to share their own journey, right? Along with their brilliant minds. I mean, they're researchers, they're doctors. So they have come from that allopathic space and have come into the naturopathic world.
They got outside the box.
Yes. They were rejected because they started to wake up, right? They healed themselves, right? Nobody else healed them. They healed themselves.
You have Dr. Tenpenny, who talks about vaccines and all the toxicity and repercussions of vaccines on human health.
That's right.
And then you also have Dr. Christine Northrup.
Oh, I love her.
I'm excited to see her because I didn't see her last time, so I'm so excited that she's going to be there. And then you have an amazing additional group of lectures.
So it's Jordan Rubin. Again, he conquered some type of stage 4 cancer. Then we go back to the homesteading, going back to the family. We have Off Grid with Doug and Stacey. They're big about living off the grid, homesteading and doing everything naturally. Jordan Rhodes, who overcame Lyme's disease by fasting. I forget how long he fasted, but a long time. Who else do we have? Jonathan Otto, big on red light therapy. And he also overcame some health issues. And so he's wonderful. He has a lot of, I call them alternative to the alternative modalities that not everyone's going to want to try, but they're there and they're free, right? So in a pinch, Jonathan Otto can give you some of those alternative to the alternative solutions.
For those of you who are looking for a natural path to your own healing, or have friends and family who are looking for that path, then check out Sustain Me Living, Shalom Temple Journey, so that you can connect with these incredible guides like Jax here, and also the wonderful speakers that are going to be attending this wonderful conference. Be there. Give yourself that gift. Give yourself the gift of healing, because we deserve to live pain-free. We deserve to live youthfully well within to our older age. Right. We don't have to live feeling like we're getting older just because time is passing us by. We can live with vitality, pain-free, and with a full conscious mind well within old age. So we got to make sure that we're giving that same opportunity to our most little ones so that they can also grow up healthy, toxin-free, and not have all these disruptors creating chaos and havoc in their health, right? And so That's wonderful. Now, tell us a little bit about what you teach.
What I demonstrate, well, we're all teachers, we're all, students. So I don't show up as a teacher. I show up as I did it. You could do it too. That's the space that I show up in. And I demonstrate that your body was meant to heal yourself. That's how we were created. I show up with, let's align back with who created you, right? This body is a temple. So I see it as a temple and I regard it as sacred. So once I let my clients, come into the space like, wow, I am sacred. I'm going to guard this temple. Nothing comes to this temple through the mouth that I don't allow. So it's giving them back the reins and the authority of who they are, right? So that's kind of what I teach. And then, of course, I showcase them. I bring them into the space. Like there's natural modalities, there's herbs, there's, like we talked about the 9 pillars of health, guiding them through that space. Because they comes like, well, what do I do? Where do I start? And that's where a guide comes up, shows up. I always say I'm like the GPS. I take it from point A and I take it to point B, and that is the journey. And that's kind of what, how I show up for them.
Now, you've mentioned the 9 pillars of health.
Yeah.
What are they?
So, okay, let's see if I remember them all. Sustain Me is an acronym for the 9 pillars of health, found in Barbara O'Neill's book, Sustain Me. The first S stands for sunshine. The U stands for use of water. The other S stands for sleep. The T stands for trust in divine power. A, abstain. I, inhale. N, nutrition. M, moderation. And E, exercise.
I love it.
I got it all.
Love it. That's so wonderful. Yeah. That wasn't a test.
It was good.
So you can reach Jax through Sustain Me Living. You're on all socials. You have your YouTube channel where you talk about different herbs and food and how to recover your health and how to lose weight and how to, open up your mind and consciousness and decalcify that pineal gland, right? What are some of your favorite herbs and why?
Oh, yeah. So I call them allies. And the allies, I don't know.
The camera does whatever it wants.
Okay. So I call them allies and I teach about allies. I actually, when the clients like, well, you got to find your allies. What's going to support you? So for me personally, I love rosemary. Rosemary helps me think. It's a nootropic and it just brightens my brain, allows me to, just the memory, focus, all that. That's, one of my allies. The other allies are holy basil, very calming to the nervous system, though. And it's not all the herbs that there are going to be your allies. That's another thing that I found, like I can't do too much ashwagandha. It's just because I'm already so mellow. Ashwagandha takes me lower than I need to be, right? Oh, no. So cayenne pepper is another one of my good allies.
That is one of my favorites.
Yes. And we make different tea blends for the nonprofit. So one that we make is da'at. Da'at is Hebrew for mindful knowledge. And it's literally a blend of nootropic herbs like rosemary, gutacola, what's in it? We do have green tea in it. Rosemary, and there's I can't remember them all, but it's a fusion of different herbs that helps the brain function better. So those are some of my favorite ones.
And where can people access these? Is it through the Sustain Me Living or through the Shalom Temple?
Yeah, you want to go to shalomtemplejourney.org and it's under gifts.
There's a lot of people that I meet in my practice that are having like a liter of water every day or half a gallon. And I tell them, I said, okay, one, you're flushing out vital minerals by just drinking plain water. And two, if you add, whether it's Celtic salt, right? Whether it's a pinch of Celtic salt.
Barbara talks about putting a pinch of Celtic sea salt on your tongue before you drink water. And it allows the water molecules to interact with the enzymes in your mouth to bypass digestion and go right into your cells to hydrate. So if you think about it, when you're in an emergency, you go, they call the 911, whatever, they will infuse saline solution and they don't even use, they use salt that is concentrated, so it becomes a poison, but that's how they revive people from a heart attack and a stroke. What does that say, right? Can we do that at home with healthier salts? The answer is yes, right?
Well, I am thrilled that you've come to share this wonderful knowledge with our viewers. We are out of time for today. I hope you come back so that we can share more. And tune in next Monday to Beyond the White Coat. We'll see you.
You are the most qualified to be your own doctor.
Fool me once, shame on me. Fool me twice, it ain't gonna happen.
The body will work around almost anything. It's doing everything in its power to keep you alive.